Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming to my channel. My name is Wonderful Kind Vlogs. If you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you never miss a video, and comment down below. Yeah, I'm on my way to church. Right, actually, I'm sitting outside my church. Hope y'all enjoy the service. I'm gonna film some of it, and I'll get back with y'all in just a few minutes. Remember, you're too blessed to be stressed. Loving happiness at all times, and hug somebody and tell them that you do love them, or call and check up on them.
A few moments later.
And we're going to get started with the third verse. He answered, "Yes, I am your servant." The king asked, "Is anyone left in Saul's family? I want to show you God's kindness to that person." Ziba answered the king, "Jonathan has a son still living who is crippled in both feet." The king asked Ziba, "Where is this son?" Ziba answered, "He is at the house of Machir, son of Amiel, in Lodabar." Then King David had servant bring Jonathan's son from the house of Machir, son of Amiel, in Lodabar. Mehisophet, Jonathan's son, came before David and bowed face down on the floor. David said, "Mehisophet." Mehisophet said, "I am your servant." David said to him, "Don't be afraid. I will be king to you for your father Jonathan's sake. I will give you back all the land your grandfather Saul, and you will always eat at my table." Mehisophet bowed to David again and said, "You are being very kind to me, your servant. I am no better than a dead dog." Then the king David called Saul's servant Ziba. David said to him, "I have given your master's grandson everything that belonged to Saul and his family. You, your sons, and your servant will farm the land and harvest the crops. Then your family will have food to eat. But Mehisophet, your master's grandson, will always eat at my table." Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Ziba said to King David, "I, your servant, will do everything my master, the king, commands me." So Mehisophet ate at David's table as if he were one of the king's sons. Mehisophet had a young son named Micah. Everyone in Ziba's family became Mehisophet's servant. Mehisophet lived in Jerusalem because he always ate at the king's table, and he was crippled. I was driving many years ago. I was driving to Virginia, and I'm a girl where I like music. I like to nod my head to the beat. That's just my personality. But I was driving to Virginia, and I went through that tunnel, and that music stopped. It was total silence in my car. I was like, what? Well, realizing that my radio was no longer getting the signal so that my music could keep playing. Or maybe you haven't had that experience. But I know you all had this experience. Because we like to talk on these phones and on the beat. Maybe you got on the elevator and you was talking, chit-chatting, and you was having a good conversation. And once that elevator started moving, hello? Can you hear me? Nope, the call dropped. Because your cell phone have lost its signal. So you're no longer getting the proper signal to be able to continue your conversation. So you can't hear anything because you've lost the call. Well, as we go through this scripture of verses this morning, I hope that this can kind of shape what God is trying to convey to us this morning concerning the story about Mehisophet.
All right.
Giving you a little background of this story, Saul and Jonathan, they were in battle, and they lost their lives due to the battle. Well, when they lost their lives, everyone was trying to flee from the city, and Ahithophel, his nurse, grabbed him and tried to pick him up and flee as well, but she dropped him, and he became crippled. At this time, he was 5 years old when she had dropped him, and he became crippled. And Jonathan and David, I'll say this, David remembered that he made a commitment, he made a covenant with Jonathan.
That's right.
And so he wanted to find out was there anyone else alive from Saul's family. So he asked Ziba, which was a servant of Saul. And so he asked Ziba, where is there anyone else alive from this family? And Ziba said, Jonathan's son. He didn't specifically say Ahithophel at that time. He said Jonathan's son, but he's crippled. So at that time, during that time, if you were considered to have a disability or you were crippled, you were looked upon differently because they had a lot of work to do with you. There was no access to no wheelchair accessibilities, no ramps or anything like that. So people had to really, help you. You had to get that extra help that you needed. So he wanted to put that in there that he's crippled at the feet, but he's still alive. And so David, he excluded all of that. I don't care nothing about all of that because I know the commitment that I've made. I know the covenant that I have made. So he was like, go get Jonathan's son. And so he sent his servants to go get Jonathan's son, Ahithophel. And Ahithophel was in a place called Lo-Debar. Lo-Debar specifically means no pasture, no word, no communication, darkness, isolation. You're in a place of darkness. You're by yourself. Literally, he was by himself. He was in a very dark place. He was in a malnutrition place. He was very frail in this position. He was waiting to die because he saw no way out. But every once in a while, God will send somebody to kind of nudge you on the shoulder to tell you that there is still hope. There is still something that I have for you to do. There is still purpose. There he was in this place where he was sitting at a table of fear. He was sitting at a table of death. He was sitting at a table of discouragement. He was sitting at a table of not having enough. But God sent someone to reach way down and pick him up because he was in this fragile place. Thought all hope was lost. He thought he had nothing else to do with life. But God sent someone to pick him up. At this point, he could not hear nothing from God. He was in a place where there was no signal. He wasn't going to be able to hear nothing from God because he was in a very dark place. And how many of you know that sometimes we as people, we as humans, we get in that place. I don't care how much church you do. I don't care how much praying you do. Sometimes you get in that place where you are dark and you feel like giving up. But God will send someone to come and pick you up. God will send someone to come and encourage you. God will send someone to tell you that everything is going to be all right. Every now and again, you get a little bit discouraged. Every now and again, you feel like giving up. Every now and then, you feel like you're on the edge and you're about to flip off. But God sent someone to pick you up. Not only did he pick him up, and because you got to remember, he didn't walk with ease. He had a cripple. He didn't walk with ease, His feet was crippled. He didn't walk like us. He had trouble getting to point A to point B. And every now and again, somebody cripple us. Somebody drop us off. And see, God will send somebody to help us get to the next place. He'll send somebody to come give us to the next place. Because in that place of Lo-Debar, you can't hear God the way you need to hear God. In that place of Lo-Debar, you can't really do what you need to do to fulfill your purpose. So he got to send somebody to help you up. again. And though when he went to the place, the palace, when he met David, David came to him and he told him, don't be afraid. Yeah, see, he was used to sitting at the table of fear. Sometimes when we go through stuff, you know, we sit at that table of what we're going through. You know, we don't have to be a victim of our circumstance, but we can be a victor of our circumstance. He was sitting at that table of fear for so long. He wasn't used to getting. He wasn't used to anybody being nice to him. He said, you being very kind to me. I ain't no better than a dead dog. He had very low self-esteem here. Very low self-esteem. I've been crippled all my life. Since I've been 5 years old, I've been crippled. Now I'm an old man and I got children and everything, but I'm crippled. I'm used to seeing. I ain't used to seeing too much. I ain't have what you have. I ain't had a silver spoon in my mouth. I didn't have that. So now this man right here, he being nice to me. David said, don't be afraid. For I'm going to give you back all the land of your grandfather.
All right now.
And I'm going to prepare people to feed you, to serve you. And you're going to eat at my table for the rest of your life. Look at here. See, he couldn't eat at the table and still stay in Lodabar. You got to reposition. We got to reposition ourselves. You know, when we're stuck in a place for so long, you know, sometimes it's hard to kind of get out of that place. We be in Lodabar, trying to be in Lodabar, and we're trying to move to Jerusalem and sit at the table. But God is saying that He wants us to reposition ourselves from Lodabar to sitting at the table, sitting at the King's table, because now I'm at the King's table. I don't have to feel defeated. I can be in the presence of God. I can really hear God now. When I pray, I can really hear Him. When I read His Word, I can really hear Him, because I'm sitting at the table. And with the table is the presence of the Lord. There's a fullness forevermore. At the table, I can get healing. At the table, I can feel joy. At the table, I can get peace. At the table, I can live out my purpose. I don't have to live in fear. I should live and not die. I shall declare the works of the Lord, sitting at the table.
Come on now.
We can no longer be in Lodabar. He had to literally move. The Bible didn't say that David took the table to him, to Lodabar. But David told Zebedee to bring him to me so he could sit at the table. So we as a people, we got to move. We got to reposition ourselves, even if it's with a cripple. Because you look at it, his situation as far as his legs or his feet never changed.
There you
but
go.
his perspective did.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
A few moments later.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this nice old service that was filmed today. I'm not going to hold you long. If you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Remember, you're too blessed to be stressed. Love and happiness at all times. Hug somebody, tell them that you love them. And always give thanks to the man upstairs, because without him, you wouldn't be here today. Till next time, be there or be square.